At just now, we are so powered, and the kind of inputs that we got from in the previous two sessions has motivated us further. Having last session is generally very, sometimes we feel very dull ki last session, less of energy. But trust me, because I think CASCA team has strategically put a very vibrant session at the last session, which is the youth-led session. A very, very warm welcome to all of them. I'll request my panelists, Chiranjeev, Ramit, Nirmit, Ananya, Nitya, and Tirtha to come on the stage. Before we begin our discussion, there are a couple of things that I would like to reiterate. While we were discussing and thinking about what to do in the session and what kind of research and what kind of data we should do, there was one thing which was very clear. The data was very available, like the temperatures are rising, these many cities will lose the water cover. There was everything. The data points were very, very alarming, and it was very, very alarming for us to start actions very immediately. But at the same time, when we were researching as a team, we also realized that there were very less consolidated platforms that talk about youth voices at the same time. There are things happening, there are situations, and there are platforms happening at various scattered levels, but it's important to bring them at one place. And I'm very thankful to CASCA and CSRUniverse for facilitating such platforms, because it's very much needed. And before we go into the formal discussion, I would also like to thank Connecting Dreams Foundation, because all these students, except for Trida, because she's come all the way from Hyderabad, I will introduce her separately also. But rest of the students are basically championing various chapters of Connecting Dreams Foundation in their college. And we are very proud of them because they are leading and anchoring a lot of sustainable related initiatives around the country. A special mention of Trida. She's 17 years old. She has come all the way from Hyderabad to attend the session. And when I was discussing with her that, what have you done? What are you doing? She very proudly says that I've been working in this space for more than 12 years now. So it's very encouraging for us, and it's very motivating for us. It's going to be a very candid discussion. The first thing, before we even start with the formal discussion, what is the first thing, what's the word that comes to your mind when you think of climate change? Everyone.
For me, personally, I think climate change is quite horrific and scary. So,
For me, it's visible but ignored.
I'll go with the word crisis.
For me, it's very, very urgent, and that's why it's the need of the hour.
It's okay.
According to me, it is more like interconnected. Everything is connected. My actions, your actions. If you all work together, then only the collective effort will work.
When I think of climate change, the word that comes to my mind is a disaster.
Okay. Now, from disaster to urgency to the need of hour, and to somebody talking about collaboration, interconnectedness, we can see that, how from a very urgent thing, we also talk about hope. And when I was discussing with them earlier about such things, the first thing that they would tell me is, ma'am, I think it's prosperity, because that's how everyone imagines the world around us to be. Without wasting much of time, I would quickly want to understand, because they have been doing some amazing work on ground as well. I'll quickly go to some of you and understand that kind of work, the kind of projects that you have taken up. To start with, can I quickly go to Chiranjeev and then to Trida? Because, for them, when I was asking them what motivated you to even start working and thinking about climate as an important subject, they said that the most important thing was that it started at school. It was something which was given to us, introduced to us at the school level. So let's understand from them what kind of projects they did. Chiranjeev, over to you and talk about your seed ball project particularly.
Yeah, I'll mention about it. So basically, my hometown is a very small village near Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu. And if you know, my district, Ramanathapuram, is one of the driest districts in my state. And to make sure that rainwater is collected a lot, we did not have that much trees as well. It's very dry. So what we did, as in what our school did, was we collaborated with the Rotary Club of our district, along with INS Parandu, the naval army of our place. we collaborated with them and organized a seed ball festival around 8 years ago when I was 13, 14-ish. And we made 50,000 seed balls while by combining manure, soil, and seed and threw them into our districts such that they can grow into bigger trees now. Such that when rainfall occurs or when there's monsoon, a lot of water is also collected and the groundwater level is also raised. So that is one of the first experiences of me working on hand in climate change, and that is something that I very much value till now because it's still continuing in my district, and we have almost generated around more than 5 million seed balls this year in 2025. So yeah, that is my experience.
Yeah, thank you. Trita, can I just understand from you because you're still just got out of school, so it's still fresh for you.
Yes. So a little backstory about me. I'm 17 years old, and in fact, I've actually started my environmentalist journey since the young age of 2. I would definitely give a little bit of the credit to my parents because they were the one that got me into the environment, sustainability, and everything. So if you put it that way, I'd say like I started working towards the environment. I started volunteering with an affiliated NGO named Swan since the young age of 2, and later on I kept on continuing it. And I think my first active participation by myself was at the age of 5. I started my own campaign called Adopt a Tree and Save Earth, and it was basically started off with me asking why that summer was very particularly hot. And my parents, they told me like when they were young, trees used to give shade and it wasn't as hot because there were more trees. And I was like, okay, then I'll also adopt trees. So I adopted 250 trees that year. And then I thought, why not make everyone else also a part of this journey? And I started giving away trees to people. I used to tag along with my mom to her conferences, and I would give them saplings. And when they would ask how much it cost, I would always say it costs a promise. And later on, when we actually go and contact them again, all we needed was that one word that tree, that sapling that I gave to them, will see the world as a tree one day. So that's one of my first, most active participations.
Thank you. I also wanted to understand from a couple of projects that they have been doing. When we used to have conversations, so we start bucketing projects in terms of it's directly climate related, it's not related to climate. I probably am just working with self-help groups. No, I'm probably working with just school students. But when we started and dissecting these conversations, we realized and we also understood that climate action, climate change is integral part of anything that you're doing. So any project that you're doing, climate change and climate action is very much a part of it. So I'll go to Nirmit and understand from you that you're doing a project related to livelihoods and how is it related to climate change? Yeah.
Yes, I've been doing a project called Daily Drip in which we recycle the waste clothes. If you have seen in boutiques, you must have seen there are multiple small particles of clothes that are spread here and there, and further they are thrown to the different places. And this I got to know because my mother runs a boutique. So then we started the initiative called Daily Drip, in which we collect all these small waste and further make tote bags or handy bags. And with the help of underprivileged community, we print some Gen Z designs as well, because we further sell those tote bags and handbags and give the amount of profit to the underprivileged community. So for doing this whole thing, it's more like a social entrepreneurship model. You are doing a business venture as well, and you're doing social work also. We also try that how we can increase their income by 2,000, 3,000, or whatever we can. So at least everyone should try such kind of projects in this college life, school life, any kind of possible chance they get. They definitely should try. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Nirmit, for bringing it out. And while it's also important, because in the previous session we were also discussing about increasing AC temperature by 2 degrees Celsius, even doing those small changes. I'm sure that after going from this panel discussion, even I know about myself and my family keeps on scolding me for this, that why do you keep on your AC so low? You should increase your AC temperature. And we talk about so many things, and I go back home and I start doing the same things again. But somewhere that consciousness starts building in, slowly, gradually, and you start feeling accountable for your own self and for the society around you. I would quickly go to Ananya. She's also being accompanied by her mother. About the things that they have been doing at their home, basically lifestyle things that they have been doing at their home, which talk about sustainability in daily lives. Ananya, over to you.
Yeah, so I think we all think that maybe if we would have more time, if we would be able to give more efforts, save environment, work for it, but work for the climate action, but it's the little efforts that count in all these things. So what we do in our home is we make sure that we put away kitchen waste separately. So it's the little things that matter. So I think we all should work towards it. So we are talking about the landfills and all that. We are blaming maybe the government or the community or someone who is responsible for it for separating the waste. But are we as individuals doing that in our homes? So we make sure, my grandmother does it, that we separate the kitchen waste, and then if possible, if you have time and if you are ready to do that, you can use it in your own home, in your own kitchen garden. So my grandmother is very fond of that, of growing our own plants and certain vegetables and fruits as well. So we put to use that kitchen waste as a manure. And also we make some kind of biofertilizer, bioenzyme for our own purposes. So if you have time and if you are ready to put that effort, we can stop blaming maybe the government or someone else and start putting that individual efforts that will eventually count.
Absolutely. One of the important thing that connects us with the previous session where ma'am was talking about becoming prosumers. So it's one of the examples where we are becoming prosumers at our own level and making those small changes, making those small things that we can eventually consume for our own self, but causing less of pollution, less of stress on the environment as such. And all of them have done, because of time constraints, we may be just taking some projects, but all of them have done some amazing work on ground. While it's important to reflect and understand the kind of work that they're doing, it's also important for us to understand that why this even discussion is important and why is it important to have youth voices anyways heard. Anyone on that? Nitya, would you like to share anything on that?
Okay, so if to go by the numbers, there are 1.8 billion people between the age of 10 and 24, and I believe we are the most connected and most climate conscious generation in the history ever. I was recently reading in Hindustan Times that the global population is under 30 years. If we'll talk about globally, 50% of the people are under 30 years of age, and we make less than 3% of national lawmakers. And that brings me to the question, while countries like Ireland and Sweden have climate action youth committees and they advise the lawmakers, then why can't we, India as a country? While we all are part of our student clubs and eco clubs, we also need to have a stake in climate ministries and local government panels. And we finally come to the point that more awareness in regard of climate science and climate governance. And what we're asking for is just not a seat on the table, but rather we are demanding a role in shaping the table itself.
Right. So I think we have started with discussions like this. You have started making the table yourself, and you will slowly see the table being made eventually in the days to come. I would also like to understand that there are different platforms, and sometimes we feel very cluttered. Ki kaun si information, which information is important, which platform to seek information from? Should I even look at my mobile? Will it be right? Will it be wrong? Sometimes if I see something on social media, the first thing is that it will be definitely a myth, or I should not trust it. Given so much of information kind of bombarding happening to us, and we getting stimulated every second minute with a piece of information, how do you make your voices heard? What is that thing that you can do to make your voices heard? And I think youth are the most connected people and the least connected at the same time in many ways. So I would want to know that how do you make that connections felt? Ramit, over to you, because we did not hear your project.
So as ma'am just mentioned about social media. So at this time majority of the youth is using social media as a source of entertainment. But social media is something that can use as a tool in itself. It can be used as a tool of education, because climate change is such a topic that is a vague topic in itself. At a local level, we need to give the information. We need to make the people understand what actually the climate change is happening to ourselves. What are the faults? What are the wrongs we are doing in our daily lives? Other than that, we can use it as a tool to fight for various actions that are harming against this climate. Like the recent protest that has been done against the deforestation happening in the Karnataka, in the Telangana region. And majorly, the social media, and as we talked about raising our voices, as we are doing such kind of a summit, we can use the social media to make community of such like-minded people, like the youth we ourselves are like-minded, that we need to prevent the climate change, or we need to work for the climate. So we can join hands together through the source of social media. We like me sitting in the city of Delhi can join hand with someone outside the country. Just we are like-minded. We can do such such actions together and make such kind of proposal to the government that we can do such policies, we can do such actions, and that's all.
Absolutely well said, Ramit. But at the same time, it's important to understand that, sometimes being so engrossed on social media or on our mobile platforms, we forget to talk to the person sitting next to us. And a lot of our wisdom in the home gets lost in the process. So I would suggest that, we should also have conversations at home about climate, because sometimes getting engrossed just on mobile phones and trying to seek information from the world outside, we forget what we can get at the home. So a lot of climate change sustainable practices are happening at home. So let's also revisit that. Quickly understanding from each one of you, because I think you are working in this field and you may have your own thought processes about it. I would quickly want to understand, if given a chance, that like Nitya mentioned, that we should be part of making policies, making part of climate action, being part of those ministries. If given a chance, you are part of any ministry or any such initiative, what is that one initiative, what is that one policy change that you would recommend? I would start with Chiranjeev. Chiranjeev, you start, and everyone else can join in. Just in one line.
I don't think it's possible to finish in one line because I have quite a lot.
You take 2-3 lines.
One thing we as a society and we as an entity of state and nationality don't have is a very distinguished discourse about whether we should prefer waste management or if we should preserve resource management. Because if you take a very simple example, a plastic straw or a plastic spoon and a wooden spoon or a paper straw. Many of you might think that paper straw is a much more sustainable usage thing, which has very less impact on climate, rather than using a plastic straw, because dumping it is going to make a bit more difficult for us to manage it. This is like basic knowledge. But the thing is, we don't do both of them simultaneously in a good way, because we all know wooden spoons or whichever things that we think, they are non-renewable, which is you're taking it from direct trees. You're taking it from a source which does not have proper management, because there is no any proper afforestation management in our country, or there is no such thing which ensures us that the amount of forest coverage is increasing, which would essentially mean that our nature is getting destroyed. On the other hand, when you talk about waste management, more than half of the plastic waste that is being produced in our country every year is being dumped directly, or it is being burned out, which would cause a lot more amount of greenhouse gases than which we used to have before the production of plastic. So we don't necessarily do both of them perfectly, but there is always this debate about whether we should prefer waste management more or resource management more, but there is no proper conclusion about it.
So you're trying to say that if given
Yes.
given a chance, you
Given
would
the
try
chance.
to bring in to the notice of everyone that should we prefer board, make some more action plans or regulations
Yes,
around the
these
same.
topics are not discussed, period. So I would very much like to be in a place where these topics are discussed very much frequently.
Fair enough. Can I go to Trida and understand from her what are the changes that she would want to introduce if given a chance, and any such best practices you have seen at your place that you would want to incorporate?
Yes, I have two things that I'd like to say. So one related to waste management. In Hyderabad, we actually have this app called Goodie Bag. So what it does is, based on the weight of your dry waste, it gives you a point-based reward. So it's providing you a small reward for your efforts of managing your waste properly. So this is quite a flexible platform because you can book a slot where they come, they weigh and give you points and take the dry waste back. So, and this dry waste is also being recycled. So that's one such example that I've seen in my city. And along with that, I'd say one major problem that I find, especially in my city, is the hygiene of the roads as well. Because in fact, I think it's pretty evident in most of India that the hygiene of the roads is not something that's ideal. And I actually have, I'm the founder of something called Ozone Run, which is an environmental run. And every year we pick up one like societal or environmental problem and build towards a solution for it. So last year, the topic was the hygiene of Hyderabad roads, which for which I collected over 60,000 petitions from the run and submitted it to Hyderabad's municipality, municipal corporation, and we actually saw efforts from the government within 24 hours, especially in our locality. However, the only problem was that it's not continued. So my only request to the government is have a continued and more systemized way of approaching a problem and looking and helping out with the solution as well.
Absolutely. So from discussing if it is waste management or if it is resource management to actually talking about and thinking through of solutions which can be implemented and monitored for the long run, I will quickly go to Ananya and understand if you have any such points that you would want to highlight if given a chance.
Oh yeah, so as we have Tirtha and Chiranjeev, they both were exposed to these things in their school level as itself. So I think if these things are done at the school level only, the students are more aware about it. So if given a chance by the ministry, I would like to implement these things at the school level itself, such that there's at least 1 hour in each week where students do the groundwork towards climate change, so that it would affect them more and make them more aware towards these things.
Any point from Nitya?
Yeah, actually, I had to add to the policy the point that you've been asked for. I believe that we could do a lot in the sector of carbon pricing and redistribution framework, specifically because pollution is cheap, right? And meanwhile, we can make sustainability expensive by imposing correct penalties in the sector. Also, talking about in terms of redistribution framework, I think there's a need that we should work towards supporting the communities that have been affected by the climate change problems. And for example, the deforestation that has been done in Hyderabad recently that was mentioned by Ramit, or the various dam construction projects that keep on happening, or the mine constructions as well. I think we should actually focus and take a segment and time out to see the world out there, specifically in our country, which actually suffers a lot from environmental issues. And if we can at least give our stake in the matter, either by supporting or posting online, because we as youth speak the terms of hashtags and social media. So I think altogether we can build a greater voice.
Thank you, Nitya, for that. Nirmit, do you have any point, and do you have any concluding remarks on that?
Yes, according to me, many students are concerned towards climate change, ESG, CSR. They are more curious to know about these fields. But the thing is that even I'm also interested, but if you say that, are you interested to pursue career in this? Then maybe there is question mark in my mind. Because there are so less jobs in this profession, and even you also know, my sister is in KPMG. She says to me कि निर्मित तेरे को करना है pursue तो कर ले, but इधर तो CSR teams बड़ी छोटी होती है. By listening this, I also I had question mark in my mind कि करूँ या नहीं करूँ. तो I would say that this thing can be done by us. We cannot say any corporate firm, please jobs badhao, please openings zyada karo. These things can be done from your side. So I would say ki those things which are done from your side should be done at the quickest so that I can convince my parents to. Okay, yeah, thank you.
I'm sure everyone is listening into that, and the next 2 days are for that, for increasing more space for all stakeholders who are involved in climate change. What's more important is that, thinking about what you just said about the school system having such things, I feel it's equally important to have more of climate change as a thing in our higher education also, because recently, till very last few years, we never had an entrepreneurship course in IMs, and now we have a full-fledged entrepreneurship course running in IMs because that was the need that was felt. So I feel talking about climate change at higher education levels also, in terms of research, in terms of doing some actions around that, is critically important. I would quickly go to Ramit, if you have anything to add on to this point.
So I would like to say that not just studying to the education, because I personally have been studying to environmental sensitivity from the class first. But as ma'am told that recently the course on entrepreneurship got added in some university. So it's a practical course, and as we will be approaching into the job market, it's all about practicality. So we can apply the same principle in the climate change as well. We have been studying the theoretical part of climate change, that these are the greenhouse gases, this is the particulate matter. But what we can do in practicality, like if we want to incentivize the student with the marks, so we can incentivize them with some kind of projects of climate, that some projects like Tirtha mentioned or Chiranjeev mentioned. So my point is that rather than focusing on the theory, rather than focusing on just bookish knowledge, focus on the practicality of it, focus on what new innovation can be done in the school, and we can incentivize the student with marks, we can incentivize the startup with some kind of funding. So that's all.
Absolutely. Well taken on that. If I summarize what all of you said, that right from the fact that we need to have more discussions around the terms itself and which thing is more important. Like, when I was mentioning climate change and climate action, what is to be spoken when? And what these terms mean in separation, and what these terms mean when you're talking about them together. And also deconstructing and simplifying these terms for other stakeholders also. And like you said, that integrating such things in school curriculum, while at the same time making it more practical rather than theoretical in schools. So that, and now with our new policies in education, we are supporting and promoting practical education and not just theoretical education. So let's also use and try to build on the such kind of policy initiatives that are already in place, and let's try to see if we can help in any which ways towards a better climate. What I also wanted to know, a lot of things, like in the previous session was also mentioned, that a lot of things begin at home, and we need to take one step at a time. But at the same time, like you were mentioning, at some point of time, when there are constructions, there should be some sort of regulation around that. Would you like to mention anything around the challenges specifically that you face and the solutions for that?
According to me, if you have seen that during construction, there are high amount of energy which is wasted. Now, if you're asking me about solution, I cannot say exact solution because I haven't studied anything. But if you can research about this, that how we can save this energy, because ultimately it will protect our environment only. And there obviously there are alternative solutions, but we have to start implementing it. We have to add more regulations to it. If you have seen before RERA, you have must have heard about RERA. There are many times illegal constructions have been done. Then as the constructions are illegal, so many illegal practices have been done. So after RERA, it's more something organized thing is there. But when we talk about wastage of energy, it is still there. So we all can research. We youth will definitely research, but we cannot take action immediately. You have more knowledge, you can take action immediately. Yeah,
Thank you. And one more thing that I feel as an individual is that as a society, we need to, if our youth want to do something, as a society, we also need to encourage failures. We are so driven by only seeing successes around that we compile best practices, we compile success stories. But it's also important to understand from the failures. If we give them that space that you can fail, do whatever you want to do, but fail and learn from those failures and then succeed, it's okay. But they also feel hesitant that we have to succeed. हमें तो first ही आना है. So let's also give them that bandwidth to feel that. Chiranjeev, because you are interested in technology, would also want to know something around technology and climate change from you.
When we talk about technology and how it impacts climate change, it's kind of a blessing, but a bigger curse, in my opinion, because the very fact that we are not aware of how much technological usage affects our climate is very apparent, because we talk about technology and how it brings us awareness, how it brings us closer, all that stuff. But still, a very simple fact, one single ChatGPT search will require half a liter of water for the coolants to cool down, and it is evaporated as hot air. One single search. To imagine how many billion searches are being done one day and how much water vapor is evaporated, which is heating our country, our ecosystem, our world, whichever word you want to call it. We are unaware of it. But the fact is, we can't live without technology. So we have to make sure that we are using it for very mundane things. We should not be like, okay, I'm going to ask ChatGPT what's 1 plus 1, and in the next search I'm going to ask what is 1 minus 1, because it's not worth it.
But
Get what I
everyone
mean?
did Ghibli, right?
Yes, that is a very recent
And he had to
trend.
actually say, don't do it
It's
for
not
some time.
required. All 500 pictures in my photo gallery do not need an artwork.
Absolutely.
Certain things which are not required should not be done by people. Because when you talk about how this impacts people, people are getting shifted from places to places because they simply are not accustomed to the climate change. How El Nino affect, how the ocean currents are changing, how much monsoons are also affecting. India is driven by monsoon. To see the fact from 2015, how the monsoon patterns are getting different and how many farmers are losing their jobs, losing their lives because of climate change, it's very serious. We can't take certain things in a very unserious way, and it's high time that we take it seriously.
No, absolutely well done. Well said, Chiranjeev. And we all resonate, whosoever is in the hall and even beyond that place also, whosoever is listening to us, we all resonate with whatever we share and we have communicated today. But what remains at the heart of it is the commitment. We cannot also say that we will not develop because we have to remain sustainable or we have to protect our climate. Like what was said in the previous session, that development and sustainability can go hand in hand, and we have to figure out ways to do it more consciously. And what was mentioned in the session prior to that we need to be, as a consumer, we need to be conscious. Not everything can be producer governed, can be government governed, and we also have to be conscious कि सब चीज़ों को जिबली करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, right? So towards the end, like how I started, the first thing that, I want to understand what climate change or climate action brings to you as the first word. I would also like to end, what is the one thing, before I say that question, I would like to quickly ask if any one of you has anything to ask from the audience, or, as a message to the audience that you would want to give. You have? Yeah, please go ahead.
So this is, as you can see, it's a youth panel, and you can all consider yourself youth as well. I'm pretty sure all of you already do. So one thing that I'd like to say is it doesn't really matter when you start. What matters is if you started and if you are still continuing to do so. So it doesn't matter if you're 65 or if you're only 6 years old, start. But make sure that it's continued and there is consistency in what you are doing. And even if what you did impacted one person or any number of people, that means that they will also at one point be motivated to be the change maker as well. So that's one request that I have for everyone. No matter how small it is, please start.
I think that's a very important thing, that we need to start and not wait. Like for everything, we wait for Monday aayega, we will do. Next month aayega, we will do. So let's change that thing and let's start it doing from now itself. That if there's anything that needs to be done, let's do it now, and let's not wait for the next Monday to come. That when it is first, I will start going to gym. I'm just giving an example, but we generally procrastinate things like that and justify in our own head that we are doing right. So towards the end, I would quickly ask each one of you that I think the panel discussion was all about, after the end of the panel discussion, I'll feel that actually, everything is so bad. Why are we even living? But there is something that gives us hope, and we all want to live with that hope, and we all want to work towards that hope. What is that one thing, but that one word that gives you hope? I don't want bigger words, but that one thing that first comes to your mind and that gives you hope. We can start with Ramit, and then from Ramit we can go ahead.
For me, to prevent the climate change, it's the passion for change that we have. So the passion that we have is something that gives me hope.
Passion, right. Word for you?
I believe purpose. If we
Passion,
have a
purpose.
purpose, we will be able to do it.
Yeah.
For me, the fact itself that we are here, the youth panel is here, we are discussing about it, we are discussing that youth should be involved in all this, is the hope.
I believe that organizations like CDF, that is the Connecting Dreams Foundation, that is why we are sitting here, to be honest. We are not able to, this is my first panel discussion. I don't know that what a panel discussion be like. So organizations like CDF gave me a chance, and CDF chapters are the social entrepreneurship chapters if you have seen in multiple colleges, DU colleges. So I was not, aware about social entrepreneurship. When I entered into college, I just interacted with seniors, learned about social entrepreneurship. Then the brainstorming started, that how innovation and social work can, combine. वरना तो I was just unaware कि क्या होता है social entrepreneurship like business. Okay, so वो चीज़ नहीं है. Just start brainstorming a lot, failures आते रहेंगे. But अगर आप failures को as a experiments consider नहीं कर रहे, and you are just stopping at one failure, then that is the actual failure. Okay? Yeah, thank you.
One word that comes to my mind is influence, because no matter what a human has in its own historical value, one thing he will never lose is the power to influence other people. And it is a blessing, it is a curse, but if we use it properly, the power that everyone has, that is to influence others, to make other people aware about climate change, to make other people aware about what impact climate change has on our lives. I think that starts as the most important pressing factor that can lead to an exponential scale of change.
Sita, what's the one word that comes to your mind? Just one word.
For me, it's the future, because no matter whatever we do, it's for a better future for ourselves. So that's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. You know what? I would want to wrap it up by saying that when we started the initial words, they were all negative. It started with disaster, urgency, nothing is happening, to closing it at a point where everyone is talking about purpose, passion, future, and a commitment to work towards betterment of everything around us. That talks about our journey from where we start and where we are going to go in next few days, next few hours, next few months. And I look forward to all of them, and I look forward to each one of them here in the hall also. That thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Please give them another round of applause. I mean, they're so young, but they're really inspiring at such a young age. Please take a picture. Now, with this, we are concluding today's session, and we'd like to have all of you join us for tea. So please join us in the tea area. Guys, please come.